One. Hands on our hearts. Thank you, boys, for taking off your hats. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Have your seat. We are so excited to have you join us for this afternoon presentation. All right, we need quiet because we have to start right away. Ready, ready, ready? The CritterKin's project. Look at the quilt over there. Isn't that fantastic? Give these kids a round of applause for that. On the screen you see a very creative person, Miss Jenna Ball. She helped Miss Brosh and Miss Yvonne and this group of kids do some fantastic learning this summer. Kyle, our technology expert, wants a round of applause as well. Give everybody, Kyle. And of course, our own friend Ann Feldman's here because she's our technology expert for the district. We appreciate all of you. And I'm going to turn the microphone over to Mrs. Yvonne and Mrs. Brosh. Give them a round of applause, please.
Wow, we're excited to see you all here today. What a full audience. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come see our awesome third graders perform their one-act play today. We have had the privilege and the honor of working with Miss Jenna Ball over the last 3 weeks. She is author and illustrator of the CritterKin series book. This project-based activity that we've been doing for the past 3 weeks answers the question, what is kindness and what is compassion? We've also had the privilege of working with Mr. Marty Keltz, who is a producer as well as a co-writer of the CritterKin series. His son, also Jonathan Keltz, helped us out too and came in and hung out with our kids to give them some pointers since he is actually a Hollywood actor. Here's Mrs. Brosh.
The students have gone through and created several different projects to go along with this. They've actually created a fabric quilt, which some of you might have seen in the hallway. And they've created a paper quilt, which is hanging on the wall, and we also linked it to Erasmus. So we'll show you guys after this that you can actually scan the pictures and a video comes up of the kids talking, which is really neat. And then as you walked into the building, of course, we had our chalk quilt. So we've been very busy. We also did a lot of writing in Kid Blog, and then the neat thing was that Miss Jenna actually commented on them, so the kids got to have critiquing done by an author, which they thought was pretty neat. At the end of the performance, we'll have a question and answer session with Miss Jenna and the performers. And then after that, we do have some apples over there for you guys, and we also have book order forms if you would like to order some of the CritterKin books. At this point, we're going to turn it over to Miss Jenna and our students, so hopefully you enjoy.
Hello, and thank you so much for coming. As Brittany and Monica mentioned, I'm the author and illustrator of the CritterKin books series, but I'm also the creator of the CritterKin Be Kind program with my business partner, Marty Keltz. Together with teachers and students across the U.S. and Canada, we've been designing projects that teach emotional as well as intellectual skills. That's because we believe that... Hold on, she's coming.
She's coming.
Today's program marks the end of one of our best projects yet. The third graders in Bellevue Elementary School's summer reading program not only read one of our books, but created 2 quilts, and in the process blogged, drew pictures of dogs, took photos, wrote poetry, chose fabrics, cut out and sewed patterns, made videos, and collaborated on putting it all together. Best of all, they did all of this with excitement, enthusiasm, and big smiles on their faces. For all of the adults involved, this has been a wonderful reminder that learning can and should be fun. The play you're about to watch is based on the last chapter of the book we read together, Lead with Your Heart. It's set in the city hall of the town where Lance, the main character, and his family live. One of the city council members, named Mrs. Crutch, is trying to pass a bill to have pit bulls like Lance banned from the city. Ms. Janaya, the founder of the CritterKin School of Dog Training, and her students have been working very hard to get people to sign a petition to oppose this bill. The City Council will hear arguments for and against the bill at this meeting, then vote on whether or not it will pass. Ms. Janaya and her students are all at the meeting with their dogs, waiting to speak. The following one-act play is narrated by Lance, and I will be speaking as Lance from now on. City Hall was packed the night the City Council was going to vote on the pit bull bill. Every seat was taken, and it was very warm.
It is exciting, is it not? Perhaps we shall become big stars tonight. Something tells me this is a long night.
We thought Mrs. Crutch's law would be the first thing they discussed, but the City Council had a lot of work to do. First, there was a call to order.
I hear my call, Council meeting. Order!
But they talked about parking tickets, traffic signs, and building permits. By the time Mrs. Crutch finally began describing her anti-pit bull bill, I was half asleep.
Wake up, Lemonade. Mrs. Crutch, she is talking. Pit bulls are a danger to our town and our children.
Mrs. Crutch talked for a long time about the dangers of owning pit bulls. She showed pictures of people with dog bites and talked about how pit bulls cannot be trusted. When she was finished, people all around us were muttering and sounding upset. Then it was Ms. Jania's turn.
My name is Miss Janaya, and I was a teacher here in town for 30 years. Now I own a dog training school called CritterKin. I teach people and dogs how to live happily together. But would it surprise you to learn that most people need more training than their dogs? Good. Miss Janaya is doing good. The reason is simple. People are complicated. Dogs are not. How many of you have or know dogs? Raise your hands, please. Can some of you describe your dogs? Playful, loving, energetic, mischievous.
Lazy. Hyper. Protective.
Okay, thank you. How many of you heard anything really bad about dogs? That's because dogs are good. They love people. They want to please. If we teach them what we want, they'll do it. That doesn't change the fact that pit bulls are dangerous. Oh, but it does. Pit bulls are dogs. The only way a pit bull or any other dog becomes dangerous is if a person teaches it to be. I know from personal experience that pit bulls are dangerous. A pit bull bit my brother. I'm sorry you had bad experience with one dog, but imagine how you feel if you had to leave town because someone in your family did something wrong. We're talking about the safety of our children. I think we're talking about fear. In my CritterKin Kids class, we call fear the emotional flu. With your permission, Mayor Cummings, I'd like the kids from my CritterKin Kids class to show you their medicine for emotional flu. This doesn't have anything to do with my bill. Let's do it, kids. Mackenzie? My name is Mackenzie, and this is Mortimer. We're in Miss Jania's CritterKin class. We study a lot of things about dogs. For example, body language and healthcare. But the most important thing we learn were the 3 R's. Annie? My name is Danny, and this is my dog Scooter. Mr. Knight called him Problem Child because he barked and jumped on people. You need to learn the first R, respect, but I need to learn the second R, repeat. Timmy? My name is Kimmy, and this is Lucky. Lucky is a good dog, but he's kind of like Scooter. He forgets things a lot. I have to be patient and use the second R, repeat, so he won't forget. Teaching Lucky taught me to be patient with other people, too. He is a good teacher. Brendan? My name is Brendan, and this is the girl. We adopted her from the shelter. She was scared of everything, so we brought her to CritterKin class. Mr. Nair taught us the third R, reward. So we started rewarding the girl for taking baby steps. That means trying new things even if you're scared. It's a good lesson for everybody. Paul? My name is Paul, and this is Hipster. Even though he might look big and scary, we call him the gentle giant. If you scratch his back or rub his belly, he groans. Want to see? Oh, that's good. Hipster taught me to never judge a book by its cover. Ready? My name is Rennie. Take a deep breath and try again. You can do this. My name is Rennie, and this is my best friend Lance. Lance is a pit bull. Before I met Mrs. Crutch, I never heard of pit bulls. Lance was just Lance. The worst thing he ever did was bury my shoes. Now Mrs. Crutch says he's dangerous, but how does she know? She's never met him. That's all except for a Sit for a Pit campaign and petition. Sit for a Pit was a way to teach people about pit bulls, and ask them to sign our petition. The petition says, we do not support a law that would outlaw pit bulls. We believe each dog should be treated as an individual. I'm proud to say there are more than 2,000 signatures. One last thing, I'd like to suggest that Mrs. Crutch take some medicine for her emotional flu. What do you have in mind? It's Rennie's idea, so I'll let her tell you. Mrs. Crutch, I'd like you to meet Lance and shake his paw. Absolutely not. That dog is filthy. He's not. We gave him a bath today.
In the end, it was Rennie who found the courage to take the first baby step. First, she turned to me and said, Next, she took a deep breath and held out her hand to Mrs. Crutch.
Hello, Mrs. Crutch. My name is Rennie. I don't believe we went. How do you do, Rennie? It's nice to meet you. I'd like to introduce you to my best friend, Lance. He's very friendly and knows how to shake. I'd rather not, if you don't mind. I'm not fond of dogs.
That's when Rennie did the bravest thing of all. She leaned over, whispered in Mrs. Crutch's ear, It's okay to be scared. I was scared too, but you can do it. I know you can.
Mrs. Crutch, I'd like to meet Lance. Lance, I'd like you to meet my new friend, Mrs. Crutch. See, he's happy to meet you. He's wagging his tail. Yes, I see. Now you can shake his paw. I don't think I can. It's okay. Let me show you. Take Lance. No, you try. See? You did it.
And that, my my friends, is the story of how I became a super smart, stunningly handsome, extra special pit bull, and how Mrs. Crutch learned to take her medicine. I'm happy to report that everyone on the City Council, including Mrs. Crutch, voted to allow pit bulls to stay in town. Thanks to all the hard work we did on Sit for a Pit, I became a kind of celebrity. That means a lot of people want to meet me and shake my paw. Being a celebrity is good because it gives me a chance to smile, wag my tail, and show everyone that pit bulls are good dogs. Like Ms. Janiyah says, it's up to everyone to teach people to be kind and help animals who can't help themselves. Ms. Janiyah is very wise, but I still think she's a dog in disguise. The best news of all is that I have my forever family and home. Mom forgave me for burying Rennie's shoes and never talks about giving me away anymore. I do my best not to get into trouble, but sometimes I just can't help it. The other day I chased a skunk under our house, and the nasty creature sprayed me with its stink. Instead of being mad at the skunk, everyone yelled at me and made me sleep outside. When I complained to Mortimer, all he said was,
"These are still peculiar, mon ami, and these smell very, very bad."
And now what we're going to do is some of the third graders are going to go back and they're going to come up and show you as the audience, and they're going to show the people watching via the internet and the Google Hangout the actual felt, or not the felt, the fabric quilt that they've made over the last couple of weeks with the help of Dana Doran. And I don't know, is Dana in here?
I hope so.
We really need to give her a round of applause too.
Even
though the kids created the quilt itself, she was the one that seemed to put it all together. You guys want to come down this way more so they can see it on the video? And what if you notice around, these are words about kindness that they brainstormed as third graders that go along with the things that we talked about over the week. What was one of the words that you said? Thoughtful. Open heaven. Love. Nice. And the last one you did, what was that last one? Considerate. So there is a wonderful quilt they created. Thank you.
At this point, we do have a few of the kids that are going to show you their paper ones, and they'll have the iPads to show you. So if you have a child that was actually in the play and would like to come and grab, oh, sorry, we have question and answer first. I got ahead of myself. We do have a question and answer session with Miss Jenna and the kids. Can we have a seat?
And you guys go sit again.
So does anybody have any questions about what we did for the last 3 weeks? My audience, if you want to go sit on
Go
the
sit in
stage.
case you have a question.
If you have a question, Billy, go on the stage. Anybody in the audience have a question?
And it can be for Miss Jenna or for the kids. Miss Thrash, you want to call on him for questions?
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Nice and loud. Okay. Miss Jenna, we have a question about what inspired you to write the story.
But hold on, because there's kids leaving.
Hold on just a second. Just a second.
Marty's here too, if anybody has any questions about
being a dog.
Here's Mr. Marty. He's the producer. He actually produced Magic School Bus and Goosebumps.
We'd love to have a conversation with some of the parents and other educators about what it means to bring emotional literacy into the classroom as well as intellectual skills. We're having a great time, as you can probably tell.
We've got just a few more people that are leaving.
Okay.
They have a couple things that they have to do before the end of the day.
Oh, no problem.
Okay, thanks for Brandon.
All right. The question was, what inspired you to write these stories?
Oh, well, several things. One is that animals have always played just a very, very important role in my life. Everything from a blind horse to swimming with dolphins in Hawaii. And I knew that they had been some of my best teachers, and I thought that I would just love to share those with kids.
Oh, so this is a question for Jenna. What was the hardest part about making this play, Derek? You can come up. Can you talk into the microphone?
Yeah, let them come up and talk in the microphone. And I want to just say everybody did the most amazing job.
Oh, yes.
Jonathan is texting me to say to me, boy, these guys are ready for prime time. What a wonderful, wonderful group.
Yeah, they did great.
Best job. Bravo.
Should I tell him?
So what was the hardest part?
The hardest part was when we had to do the lines and get louder.
That was our big thing.
Yeah, learning to project. So, did the last person in the farthest row back hear everything that was said?
Did you hear us today? Yeah, we got lots of noise.
Yay.
Oh, how did we get the face paint on the dog? Alex.
Miss Easton did it.
You did a great job.
She's responsible.
Did she tell you that that was permanent?
Yeah.
It doesn't come off.
It doesn't come off?
Ask if the audience has any questions. Parents? Grandparents? Over here?
Ooh, were you nervous in front of the audience? See any nice and loud?
Yes.
Yes, I was nervous.
You guys did a great job, though.
Very proud of you.
Does anybody else have any questions?
Houston has a question.
Right from the idea into making it a book into being with Marty and making it a publishing. How long was the journey of the publication?
So how long was the journey of the publication?
That's actually a really good question, because it started with a pit bull I met at my local SPCA, who was originally used for dog fighting and has scars all over his face. He's the sweetest dog you ever wanted to meet. And I thought, wow, talk about being misunderstood. So that was the beginning of this particular story. Took me about, 3.5, 4 months to write the story, Marty? Yeah. Then I had to do the illustrations. And then we started talking to educators about, reading the book to the kids and how the kids could also participate in the story and get involved. And that's when I met Brittany and Monica, and we said, what about a play? And they didn't even miss a beat. They said, heck yeah.
And then we said, what about doing a chalk drawing?
And they said, heck yeah.
Then we said, what about Erasma? And they said, heck yeah. So
they're amazing. Talk about
we
amazing.
have to give them a big round of applause as well.
Any other questions?
Are there any other questions? Over there. Go ahead. Are you asking Miss Jenna or the kids? Kids, what was the easiest part? Liam, nice and loud. Oh, can anybody else answer it for us? Anybody else? Cece. Oh, forgot. Remember, we have to have our idea in mind. Jack?
The easiest part was probably the audience lines.
The audience line.
Yeah. One word.
But they were an important part of the play. I mean, they were very important.
Yeah.
They probably you need to memorize because it's so easy. Well, yeah, but not that
A
hard.
question for the kids. Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
You guys, what do you think? What do you think you learned about being kind from the dogs?
What did you learn about being kind from the dog? Kate? Open answer. What did you learn about being kind?
I learned from being kind to the dogs to get to know someone better before you say anything about them.
Oh, that's good. That's
Perfect.
Anybody else?
Anybody else have another thing that they learned about being kind? Ethan? You gotta stand up.
I learned that being kind is fun.
Yes.
You're right. Yes.
One more for being kind?
One more.
For being kind?
One more answer for being kind. What did you learn about being kind, McKenna?
I learned about being kind was that when you have a dog, like, don't be mean to it because it's still like a part of your family.
Thank you.
It's a family, yeah.
We take one more question?
One more question, anybody? What's your question? Why was she so scared of shaking the dog's hand? Mrs. Crutch, can you answer that one?
Come on, Mrs.
Why were you so scared of shaking the dog's hand?
Because she was experienced from a dog and she didn't get to know it before, and it bit her brother.
Good job. Are we gonna? It's in the it has it all in the program.
Do you have any other questions, Mr. Marty or Miss Jenna? Any more questions for us?
No, I don't know if it's possible, but we'd love to get a look at the audience.
Okay.
Is that doable?
Okay, ready? Now,
Okay,
I'm going to turn you. Here's part of the audience. Can you see them?
Wow.
Yay!
I don't know if I can
There
let
you are.
Can you
There
see?
you are.
Okay, and then I'm
So did the audience have fun?
panoramic view.
Great, great. It was really great meeting all your kids and working with
Oh,
them.
they were
What fun.
Absolutely fabulous.
Okay, now what we're going to do is our Erasma quilt is over there that the kids created. And what happens with the iPad, there's an Erasma app. And if they scan on their dog, it'll actually have them talking in a videotape of them from the perspective of the dog, sharing about kindness and compassion. And then also there's apples for you to enjoy on the table and order forms from the books, the CritterKin's books, if you're interested in it. But I think, first of all, we are so proud of these third graders. What they accomplished in 3 weeks is truly amazing. They didn't miss a beat. They were 100% engaged, and they were excited every day. So let's clap for you guys again.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And secondly, Miss Jen and Mr. Marty, they are super busy in their lives as producers and authors and everything else. They took so much time with us these 3 weeks to help our third graders out. Jonathan Counts, the actor, spent a whole afternoon with them getting them pointers and tips. So we owe them an applause.
We do.
Thank you.
Hey, you guys, are we going to bow to say goodbye?
Stand and bow. Ready?
1, 2, 3.
To be continued. How's that?
Perfect.
Great stuff. Enjoy the quilt.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys are awesome.
Okay. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.